Hello and welcome back. I am the Red Menace, and today we're playing Madden 08 in franchise mode. So I tested it out and got the full screen mini drill to show on the video. I had to set the resolution to the same resolution that the menu interface screens run in, which is 800 by 600. So when I play this drill, the quality of the image is going to go down a bit. But as you can see here, we have the mini drill. This one is Pocket Presence. I've chosen Eli Manning as the quarterback, who I'm going to try and improve his stats with. And the point of this one is to hit the right button without getting hit by any of these yellow balls that are flying at me. And this first mini drill, there's a series of these that allows you to gain more and more points. It's fairly simple. Just some quick movements. It's pretty easy to avoid the balls. Now to get gold on this mini drill, you can see the trophy up in the corner. Oh, I only got silver. Or no, is that? I think that's silver. So as you can see, I got a silver trophy, which means I get 2 points. Now I could try the next level, but the learning curve for these levels is pretty high. I will go ahead and try the next level to show you how much more difficult it is. The balls come at you quite a bit faster. See, I got sacked. Oop. So as you can see, I felt I did pretty well there, but I didn't get a trophy, so I don't get any points. So in general, I find it's best just to play the first level. Hopefully you can get a gold trophy, and with a little practice it becomes fairly easy to get that gold trophy. But since I was just demonstrating what the second level was like there, I'm going to go ahead and not save the game and reload it and replay that level. Pretty much for all the minicamps, playing the first level is all I do. Just because each level or each minicamp seems to have the same increase in difficulty as far as getting the trophies. With a little more practice, I might be able to master that one. But you're only talking about an increase of, a few points. And it takes quite a bit more time. I think they've got like 4 tiers. There, I got gold. They pretty much demand perfection on these. I mean, you can't get sacked once, or else you end up getting a silver rather than a gold. Okay, so now that we have completed that, it gives us this option here to choose where we want our 3 points to go. So both of these stats are equally important. So I'm just going to make them, I'll put 2 points in here and 1 there, so both 87. So the next mini drill we have here is the chase and tackle. And this mini drill I generally save for linebackers. And I generally use it on linebackers who are young prospects. So Patrick Willis, being a rookie here, is a perfect young prospect. I'm going to go ahead and save it before I do the mini drill because I've had the game crash on me before when it's coming out of the mini drill. And there's nothing worse than having to go back and do, 3 mini drills because you forgot to save it. Now this mini drill is definitely the easiest. Rarely do I not get gold on it. And as you can see, it's very simple. And I kind of explained what it was in the last video. Oop. So we've completed it. And now, because this is the easiest one, I'm going to go for the next level. It's fairly easy to get the gold on this one, and that will give me 4 points to use on my linebacker. Oh! And there I get my gold. So, as you can see, we got ourselves 4 points. Now, I could try the next level, but generally I find if I try the next level, I only get a silver, which gives me 4 points. So it's really not worth going up the next level if you can't get gold on it. So I'm just going to keep points and quit. Getting those 4 points is fairly significant. Now again, awareness is a stat that's going to increase as the character gets older. And for middle linebackers, I would say tackle is going to be the best stat to put those 4 points in. Agility's nice, but as you can see, he's at an 85 right now. If I put all 4 points in tackle, he's now an 87. if I were to put that in agility, his overall doesn't go up any. And when the game calculates, or when it simulates a game in the season, it's going to be looking at the overall stats for the players on the defense. So if his overall stat is an 87, I'll be more likely to win. So we're going to hit done. And you know, before I started doing these, I should have done something, which I didn't do, which is go into my player management and look for players that I want to sign to long-term contracts. So Eli Manning, I've got him on a 3-year contract. His current salary is $9 million a year. If we use our mouse wheel down on, or is it up? If we use the mouse wheel on this bar here, we can scroll through it and look for our team salary. So I've got a little less than $30 million in cap room. So Eli Manning is a character that I want to sign to a long-term contract before his stats increase. Because right now he's an 87. I want to sign a contract with him when his stats are 87 rather than, say, a 95. Because if the higher his overall rating is, the more his salary is going to be, or the more he's going to demand for his salary. So what we'll do, the starting bid is 79. So I'm going to go through here, and if I reduce that by, $8 million, he doesn't want to join or he's not going to sign this contract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mouse wheel and scroll down until that bar becomes green and he wants to join the team. And as you can see, his total salary against the salary cap this year is going to be $7 million, whereas before it was $9 million. So we're going to go ahead and submit that. Now I should have done this before I played the minicamp, because now the minicamp increased his overall. Well, I didn't recall what it was before. I guess I could watch the video, but I'm not going to. So I could have paid for him at a lower rate, so I kind of lost some money there. Now my character here is just for a 1-year deal, but I want to have him for a long time, so I'm going to sign him to a 7-year contract. And this is where you actually save quite a bit of money, because I'm paying for him at an 86 rate. I'm going to play a mini drill that might increase him to an 87 or an 88. So I want to sign a contract with him at this lower rate. And generally, how much you can bargain down the contract is you kind of learn over time. The bigger the contract starts out at, the more you can move it down. Like I moved Eli Manning's down $8 million or something. So, and you just kind of guess how far. It's going to be somewhere between 5. For him at 86, I guessed it'd be about $5 million I'd save. Like this Justin Green, if I were to sign him to a long-term contract, right now he's getting paid $340K. Let's put him in a 5-year contract. And since his starting contract was less than 10, we won't pull down the menu and try and use the scroll bar. We'll just do that. Calvin Johnson's at a 6. That's pretty good. Mark Clayton's pretty good. We'll sign him to a longer contract. Offensive linemen don't really start declining statistics-wise until probably 36. So he's 29 now. If I want to keep him until he retires, until his statistics start dropping, I can give him a 7-year contract. And I've actually saved myself money. I now have a little over $30 million, and this will save myself some money too. Because at an 89, he still has quite a bit of room to improve. So he wants 40 to start. Let's put it at 34. And that's pretty close. We've got Steve Hutchins on a 6-year contract, which is good. Logan Mankins is on a 2. And Jason Brown is on a 2. I generally like to keep my backups on shorter contracts, just in case I get a stellar rookie. That's not to say Logan Mankins isn't a good young player himself. But, like, I would never sign this guy to a long-term contract, just because his strength isn't high enough. I generally like super strong offensive linemen. Now, I actually want Logan Mankins to be my starting right guard. So I'm going to go up there and go to Edit Player, and I can change his position there. So that puts him over on the other side. And he'll be our starting left tackle, and which is what I drafted before. I didn't realize I had drafted 2 left guards, starting left guards. And his stats do change a little bit. I believe he was an 89 as a right guard. Or was he an 88? Anyway, sometimes their stats change. Sometimes they're a better left guard than a right guard. But let's go ahead and give him a long-term contract. And I'm going to give a long-term contract to everyone on the offensive line. See there, I undershot it. It's probably going to be around 32, I would think. It always sucks when you're far off from the actual mark. Sometimes you guess wrong and end up scrolling through it for a while. But it's hard to guess. So Shane Olivier we have to a 6-year long-term contract. Logan Mankins we got to a 7-year. Now Olin Cruz, he's 30. He's not as strong as I like my offensive lineman to be. He's right on the edge. Like if he was 94, he'd be perfect. But he has a high awareness, which I believe is what I drafted him for. I generally do. Because that's what I like in a center, is high awareness, high strength. So we're going to go and we're going to assign him to a long-year contract. 37. We'll give him a 6-year contract, and we'll see what his stats are then. If his strength drops too much, then I'll trade him for draft picks and try and get a strong replacement for him. And then Hutchinson was already on a contract, and we got Marble Smith. Now I've got 3 right tackles, and these 2 guys are pretty much the same, but Shane Olivier, he's not as strong as I like. Take a drink of coffee. So we'll leave the stronger of the two right tackles, and we'll edit Cornell Green here. And we'll move him to the other side. And he'll be my backup left tackle. So I want to shuffle my defensive line around a bit. I like him, but not as a defensive tackle. He's a bit undersized, I think. So he is going to be my new right end. Oh, and now here's a problem with Madden 08. Right now, I can't edit his position, but I might be able to later on. I might not be able to edit it for the first year, but I'll just have to remember to keep checking back to see when I can edit that player. And because I can't do that, I'm not going to be able to edit or shuffle my defensive line the way I want to. So we'll just have to wait. I can. Well, let's continue doing contracts. So I like him. I want him to be a long-term player on my team. Oh, wrong button. So let's go into his contract. Actually, so right now he's making 192. Let's see what that is if we make that a 7-year contract. 29 might work. The controls when you remove that slider are a little touchy. Otherwise, I would move it a bit more. And 29 turned out to not be a bad guess. But so I believe his salary against the cap will now be 125, which is less than what it was before. Maybe not. I might not have wanted to do that. Or, well, I guess if you look at it, I mean, he is going to be increasing quite a bit, I believe. So Mike Patterson, I mean, he's my best defensive lineman. But I like Bunkley better just because his stats are better and his awareness is low, so that means it has a high potential to rise. So I think I'm going to leave their contracts the way they are. Yeah, we're going to want to sign him. So he's 26. I'm going to give him a 6-year contract. I find linebackers generally start to decline around 32. probably went a little too far down, but you can also click, oops, if you click just below the bar, you can move it up a bit. So if you move it, okay. So Patrick Willis is on a pretty good 1-year contract, as is he. Again, I'm not sure if it's the AI that assigns these contracts, but from what I'm seeing, they're all pretty good. Justin Miller, yeah, he'll want a longer term contract with him. Cornerbacks are kind of like linebackers. It's around 32 when you don't want them anymore, when you want to start looking to trade them. If you can't get a good trade, they'll still, be good enough to win games for you. And you probably have till they're 34 to really get rid of them. They'll retire. I mean, if you let them stick around on your team, they can go to 35, 36, but at that point, they start getting so slow. I mean, their speed and acceleration will be in the 80s. That you're kind of hurting yourself by not replacing them. Kind of taking a Belichick strategy. So, I've got 3 cornerbacks on fairly long-term contracts. And when I go into my depth chart, I'll put those 3 guys as my 3 starters. So the other contracts are good. Michael Griffin is on a pretty good contract, as is Landry. My kicker, getting 3 points a year for your kicker, especially once you start getting into the higher 90s for kick power. His stats will begin to increase pretty good. Their kick accuracy will increase on its own. So to get a rookie kicker, you definitely want to keep him on a long-term contract. And same with your punter. Although I will generally keep a kicker, or put my mini point stats into the kick accuracy, because I like an accurate punter. As long as he can kick it into the corner. That's what I care about, Okay, so that's our contracts. That should be it. Now this is our depth chart. We're just going to go through here and make sure that everyone is lined up the way we want. The AI is pretty good about putting the right characters in the right spots. On the offensive line, sometimes it will not put players where I want them. Generally, I like to keep a lot of times, if you have a really good backup right guard, it will put the right guard in this backup left guard slot. I don't like it to do that. I like it to, my left tackle is my backup, the backup left tackle is my backup left tackle, not second string to the backup right tackle, or third string. But so far the AI has been, looks like it's been doing pretty well. For my third string center, yeah, I like to put whoever has the highest overall on of my second string backup line. And yeah, so the AI has done a good job here. Now on my defensive line, since I can't change him, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Tank Johnson as my backup left tackle. Now, depending on what type of defense you set your defense to run in franchise mode, your backup defensive tackle can actually get a lot of playing time. Specifically, if you run the 4-3 defense. So it's a fairly important position. And generally, I'd choose between the 3-4 or the 4-3 defense. And I base that decision on, what players I have available to me. So if we come down here in the available players, you can see that there's Bunkley, and he's an 84 as a right end, or as a defensive tackle playing at right end. So we're going to put him in that defense, or as my right end. And then we'll assign Justin Tuck, and Chase Page will back him up. And we will put Justin Tuck as our third string left end. Our fourth string defensive tackle will have to be him. Now, middle linebacker backup middle linebacker is a position much like the backup defensive tackle, where depending on the defense, if you choose the 3-4, he'll get quite a bit of playing time. So, again, an important position. I only have 2 middle linebackers. And Beason is my starting right outside linebacker, and Bailey is my backup. I don't want Jackson to be my backup left outside linebacker. I think I'm going to want to run a 3-4 defense. So I don't want him there. If I was running the 4-3, then that would be fine. So we'll put Alliston there, and I guess Nichols. Let's just hope I don't have an injury. Of course, I guess I could always go to the free agents and see who I can get for a backup left or middle linebacker. So that's fine. There. So I like that arrangement. I believe that's along the lines of what I was speaking about earlier about who I was going to have as my 3. And there you can see it, 4-7, the contract years left. And then free safety looks good. Strong safety looks good. Kicker, punter. Now I chose Dante Hall specifically to be my kick returner. And I don't want either Jason Hill. We'll put Florence as my backup kick returner. Where is he? Oh, he's an 86, right? Okay. And yeah, Darrell Reedus. Generally, you don't see two punt returners, two kick returners injured at the same time. This is third down running back. Sproles is someone who's considered a pretty good third down running back. If you have a offense that is a pass-first offense, then having a third down running back who can catch is a good asset to have. But I guess I can check. I want him to get good stats in that direct, or I want him to pick up those kind of stats. So we'll leave him as my third down running back. Okay, so having done that now, we'll go back to our mini drills. But we'll save it first. Okay, so SWAT ball will allow me to put points in acceleration, catching, and jumping. And probably the most important stat I look for when doing these mini drills is the acceleration stat. It has the biggest impact on their overall stat. So far, it looks like I drafted everyone with good acceleration. Darrell Revis, surprisingly enough, doesn't. Speed is a stat you can never edit, so it is what it is, which is why I generally try and draft people with high speed statistics. So I'm going to be able to edit the catching stat. So we'll go ahead, and the other stat I try and draft for is height when it comes to cornerbacks and wide receivers. Yeah, we'll do this one with Darrell Revis. So as you can see, you just move the character in between the throwing machine and these dummies. And the key to these is the interceptions. So you just run the character in front of the dummy and then try and get him set before the throw. And you want him facing the throwing machine. So once you've got it mastered, as you can see, it becomes fairly easy. So, as you can see, I got gold and I still have 7 attempts left. And really, I could stop playing at this point because I don't lose points for not getting the interception. The running back one, or no, the chase and tackle one that I did earlier, if you allow the running back to score a touchdown, it will actually take points away. So if you've gotten gold, and then on the last one you allow him to score a touchdown, it'll actually bump you down to silver. So this is another one where the learning curve is quite steep, similar to the first quarterback one. So I'm just going to keep points and quit. You can try it. With a little patience, you'd probably master it and maybe be able to at least get silver or gold out of it. But I'm going to bump Darrelle Revis's acceleration up. It didn't have any effect on his overall, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and save it, just in case. Now the next one is Trench Fight, which is the one I have the most problems with. I'm going to go with Bunkley on this one. So in this one, you gotta push these guys and get to the different flags. And okay, I got silver. Yeah, you gotta do it in less than 8 seconds to get silver, and I think it's less than 7 to get gold. And on this one, more often than not, I end up not getting any points. So I could save scum, but it would be repetitive. So I got my 2 points. I'm going to put him in acceleration because he's already got really good strength. And as you can see, it bumped him up to an overall of 85. So next is clutch kicking. And this one is definitely one of the easier ones, at least for this first level. And it's just you have so much time to kick these through, and the different colors there represent the number of points you get. So if you hit it dead on, you get I believe it's 300 points, and then it's I think half for the orange, and then half again, or maybe just I think it's 75 for the yellow. So that'd be a fourth of the 300. No, whatever. I can't math and play this at the same time. You do definitely want to pay attention to the direction of the wind. Oh, and to play these mini drills, you need a controller. You can probably hear me clicking the thumbsticks. But you might be able to do it with the keyboard. I don't know. I haven't tried doing it with the keyboard before. So I could try the next level, but that one you pretty much have constantly strong winds, so it's definitely a lot harder. And I end up getting a silver, which you get 3 points for, which is the same as you get for gold at the first level. So I find it's not useful. Now you can see my kicker. I'm going to put all my points into kick power, and I actually get 3 overall. Now, I didn't mention it before, but you can use your punter during that mini drill, which once I get his stats to max to 99, which will take a few seasons, but eventually it will, then I'll start using that mini drill to improve my punter. Because the punting drill, as you'll see, is harder than the field goal drill. And in this one, as you can see, the corner of the field, or the end zone, towards the end zone, has 3 different colors. And wherever you land the ball determines what color you get. Now, I always try and move the arrow up a little bit. That represents where you're going to try and kick the ball. And then if you move it over to aim at the corner, and I generally find... I just heard a dog whine. That if you try and line up this movable space here to the kind of that up-down indicator, which I can't show you with my mouse because I can't input with the mouse. But anyway, you'll see as I do this. And I got 6 attempts to try and get it as close into the red as I can. So that one I got close. You can see it move me to the hash marks. So if I just go a little bit less than I did last time, well, yeah, I think that'll do it. So I got close, but I didn't get into the red on that one. So we'll try it there. It moved me to the opposite hash mark. I generally try and aim at the same corner, because then I can... Ugh, I don't think that's gonna... No. I'm not good on that one. You can see it's pretty sensitive, and getting a gold, you need a lot of points, and... Okay, that one I got it. So there I got a bronze. Hopefully I can get up to silver if I can get another bullseye. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Since I'm on this hash mark, I'm going to go with... Try it in the other corner. And I don't think that did very good. No. So I got 1 point. And if you try the next level, it adds the wind, and it's... Yeah, good luck. But with him, I'm going to put that in kick accuracy. I find having a good punter isn't as important as having a good kicker. So now I have a second passing drill. And this one actually allows you to increase the throwing power and throwing accuracy, whereas the first one, it was throwing accuracy and awareness. So we'll save real quick. And we'll go ahead and go into the drill. Now this one gives you 3 routes. And then you hike the ball and you gotta throw it to each receiver and try and get it through the hoop. As you can see, you need to use the QB vision. And I'm throwing too late. I think you gotta throw right as he turns. So got that one. This is another mini drill where it's got pretty high standards as far as what constitutes bronze and silver and gold. Generally find I can get bronze, but silver probably 50% of the time. Some of the routes are fairly easy. Some of them, like this deep route, gold one, I find very difficult. So I'm going to try and get this bronze one first. And then for this deep root, I like to try and roll out. Nope. And you get 6 tries, but it is a bit easier if you have a better quarterback. Like I probably would have been able to get that on the 2nd or 3rd try with Eli Manning. It's the only way I really found to make that one easier. Okay, so there I got a bronze. It's nice if you can get silver, but it's better than none. And sometimes I get none. So with him, he's a backup. I want him to be accurate. I don't want him to be out there throwing picks. As long as he can hand the ball off and throw a few dink and dunk passes, I'm good. So here we have ground attack, and this is the one I'm going to be able to use my created character on. And actually, oh, I'm sorry for that. It would be nice to improve his acceleration first. So I find that one has the biggest impact on the number of yards he's going to get in a season. So we're going to do the catch ball with my Red Menace character. No, scratch that. For this first season, I'm going to... Yeah, this carrying's 88. Yeah, we are going to... So this one's fairly easy. Just get your guy near where the icon marks. Now, I didn't set him to have a really high catching skill, but it should be good enough. I can generally get gold. I find the less you use the sprint button, the better it is when it comes time to hit the catch. And yeah, if you don't get him turned the right way, that's what happens, is he jumps up in the air and gets hit in the shoulder by the ball. You know, you can do fairly well if he misses a few, as long as you're not missing them in a row. If you miss 2 in a row, that's when you start not getting gold or silver. In fact, I think if I get these last 2, I should get gold. So not too bad. So I'll put in an acceleration. Now for ground attack, we got Darius Walker as our backup. Highlandarian Sproles. I think we're going to go with Sproles. A halfback with good acceleration and speed is a halfback that can do well at this particular mini drill. The slower the back is, it's much more difficult. And the key to this, I find, really is getting to the outside and either getting around them or getting to the sideline and going out of bounds. Because going out of bounds will stop the clock. If you're tackled in bounds and the clock keeps running, here you can see how it keeps running. So you end up saving yourself 3-4 seconds if you can get out of bounds. And as you can see, with a good fast back on this first level, it's pretty easy to get around your defense. Or the defensive guys. If your back's a little bit slower than, say, Sproles here, you can definitely try using the stiff arm button. If you can break that first tackle and you get a good block, it's pretty much a guaranteed touchdown. If I try the next level, I'll probably get a silver. But in the next level, there's 3 defenders. And the real problem with it is that you end up getting stacked up at the end zone if you get tackled within like the 10-yard line. The AI changes its behavior. Whereas if you're outside the 10-yard line, the defenders will back up when you hike the ball and then go after you. Whereas if you're inside the 10, they will blitz the line, and it's hard to tackle. So there we have it. We are done with our mini drills, and we're on into the preseason. So now that we're in the preseason, I want to see if I can change my defensive tackle, Bunkley, to right end. No, I can't. So he's going to have to stay as a defensive tackle till at least the end of the season. I know I've changed defensive tackle to an end before. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to assign those two to be my defensive tackles. And we'll put Kelly there, and that'll work. And then Bunkley we will put as our right end. And Kelly is our right end. And we want Tuck as our backup. Looks like it, when I switched over, I completely changed my Oh, why can't I think of it? My depth chart. So we'll put Allison as my backup. Left out. Or no. Oh. Hold on a second. Let's move one of these as a backup right outside linebacker. Or left outside linebacker. Let's see, Beeson. Yeah, Boss Bailey has better acceleration and speed. So we'll make Nichols a left outside linebacker. Okay. And that'll make my depth chart a little more straightforward. Okay. I guess that's who it has to be. And then cornerback is good. Free safety is good. Strong safety is good. Well. Oh, no, wait. Oh, that's right. Kicker, punter. I don't see why it undid everything I wanted. Bad programming, that's why. I mean, Dante Hall is the highest in the list. You'd think it would put it as the punt returner, but... no, we want to make another change before we save it. Our coach is Gary Kubiak. We're going to go ahead and we're going to set his playbook to run heavy. And since I drafted a run-heavy team, and I like that run-heavy team to be fairly aggressive, now as far as defense goes, we are going to run a 3-4. And I like a good aggressive defense, and we're going to attack the pass. So we're going to save it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to simulate the whole preseason. We're going to user sign, since apparently... Well, let's take a look at my injury report. So Justin Green is out for the season. Darian Sproles is out for a week, but that's fine. Oh, that's too bad. So, since we have that injury, we need to come up here and we need to go to free agents. And we need a fullback. And I'm going to draft this fullback based on... Well, let's look at a couple of things. Let's see who has a high awareness. Darian Barnes. I think I like UTEC. He's good receiving fullback. How is he good at blocking? Ugh. He's good at blocking, but he's also not very fast. Mike Sellers. good blocker. Josh Perry's good blocker. I think he's the best of the top 3. I'm looking for good acceleration. Boomer Grisby. He's got very low awareness. He's got almost no carrying. Got good acceleration, got good speed, and he's a good run blocker. Not terribly good pass blocker. I think he will be a good one-year replacement for my other guy. Now, these guys, when you're signing them, if you notice the signing bonus drops, you definitely need to bump that back up because it has a big influence. So we'll pick him up for a year. Now you can see how things even out. I've got an 88 overall offense, 88 overall offense on the Buccaneers, which I think most teams in the league are going to be something like that. Now my defense, a bit lower. Apparently I didn't draft as well as I could have. Let's go ahead and let's finish simulating the preseason. No, I don't want to. I want to look at my stats. So we're going to go in here to individual stats. Well, Brad Johnson actually had a pretty good preseason. 103 passer rating, threw 3 TDs, 311 yards. Eli Manning did not do so well. Of course, he really doesn't have any receivers to throw to. Didn't throw any picks, which is important. His completion percentage is probably what kept him down there. I had a really good preseason with 2 TDs. I have 4.1 yards a carry, which is pretty good. 2 fumbles. So let's go ahead and save it. And let's go into the regular season. So, my first game here is the Chiefs of the Texans. Let's see what our matchup is. Again, we've got another team that's 87-88, as you can see. My defense is probably going to be one of the worst in the league. But we'll see how they do. I mean, they've got good stats. It's probably the awareness that's kind of hurting them. So, unlike the preseason, what I like to do is I like to simulate the game I'm playing in first before doing the rest of the week or doing the whole season all at once. Because you do end up getting injuries in games, and if that happens, then you need to go in and check. So, I'll simulate the game. No new injuries. We knew Justin Green was out for the season, which is good. So I won. Playing at home. Beat the Chiefs. Let's go check the box scores. As you can see, the box scores include, the quarter-by-quarter scoring summary at the top there. And then this gives you a more detailed view. And you can go through it and read it if you want. But I just like to look and see how my main players are playing. Eli Manning, decent game, 60%, 2 yards. Considering the fact that I'm running, my aim is to run 60% of the time. Pretty good, considering his low yardage. But that's what I'm looking for. 3.8, little lower than you'd like. You'd like to see that 4 for an epic running back. But for a rookie, pretty good. So we'll go ahead and do that. I generally like to save every week. And when I check my injuries, if my created character has an injury that is more than 4 weeks long. I'll go ahead and reload my last save. I know it's kind of... I hit the wrong thing there. So we're going to go to the next game. Panthers are 87 across the board. But you can see that offense is underperforming so far. But the same with mine. Even though I had 150 yards on the ground, that came in at 30th, which surprises me. But my defense obviously overperforming. Oh, and actually these numbers are... Well, yeah, these numbers are skewed because I haven't played the game yet, and everyone else has. So that's why you don't simulate before the week before you simulate your own game. So now I want to look at what happened. So Carolina beat me by 7. Had more yards than they did. Eli Manning threw 2 picks. That'll do it. But my character still had over 100 yards, which is what you want. Team management, we want to check our injury report. So now that we check the matchup, you can see my rush offense is 10th in the league, which you would expect. Hopefully that'll go up a bit. My offense, 30th. I don't expect the yardage to be very high, but generally I would like that to be like in the 20s. That'll win you games, you know, when you're rushing offense. Points allowed, I'm doing pretty good, 6th. Got a pretty stiff defense. 2nd, rushing defense. And then, yeah, might be nice to see some improvement from that pass defense. But let's go ahead and simulate the game. Did pretty good, 30-10. I'm good at home, apparently. As you can see, we've got a lot of good offense. Eli Manning completed a lot of his passes for not a lot of yardage. 1 pick, 1 TD. 165 yards on the ground, 2 TDs, that's pretty good. 5 yards per carry. What's my injury report? Okay, so I lost Shane Olivier for 3 weeks. Now my depth chart should be good to go. He's my right tackle. And I got Adam Snyder as my backup. I generally like to keep one backup that's, you know, could be a starter. You know, someone in the high 80s overall, just for situations like this where your, you know, main guy goes down. You could even keep 2 high 80s linemen, because losing 2 starting linemen is definitely not unheard of. There's a setting in the game settings that allows you to modify how often the injuries happen. But I find that the default setting is pretty good. Let's go ahead and save this. Next we got at the Falcons. Falcons are 1-2. We got the 3rd best rushing up ahead of me by 1. Their pass offense is definitely doing better than mine. My defense, again, overperforming, considering it's an 83 overall. Go ahead and simulate. Wow. They're doing pretty good. I don't think that the in-game... Yeah, that the skill level actually matters. That only matters when you're playing the game. I think. But I'm going to put it at all Madden and just test. Of course, that might be a terrible thing to do, because God knows I could just have a bad streak. But as you can see, Eli Manning did pretty good. 2 T's, 1 pick. Jake Delhomme did pretty good too. Okay, yeah, that's the kind of game we're looking for. Oh, he had a 73, 5.5 or 5.1 yards a carry. Wow, 49 attempts. Oh. See there, I just lost my center. And you can kind of expect, I think you can kind of expect more injuries on the offensive line when you are a running offense. Especially when you're running, 60% of the time. Let's go into team management and check our depth chart. When you start getting injuries is when you can start needing to check your depth chart the most. So I've got my backup there. Now I want to make sure that my backup center, is not starting. Okay. So yeah, definitely depth chart management when you start getting injuries is important. That's why it's important to win again against a 4-1 Dolphins team. Or against a 4-0 Dolphins team. Not too bad. We seem to be good at home. Eli Manning had a good game. Still got a fumble. One of the nice things about Madden 08 is you can still run a running offense and be successful. It seems like in the league today, you pretty much have to have a passing game that is at least good. It might not have to be, Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers excellent. But as you can see here, I'm doing very well with just a running offense. And probably the reason that my defense is overperforming is because I am succeeding on the ground and chewing up a lot of the clock. And scoring a decent amount of points for a running offense. I'm 9th in the league. But I'm going up against the Jaguars, who are 1st in the league. And we're playing them at home. So we'll go ahead and you end up saving so much that you forget whether or not you saved this time or last time. So we'll save it again. Let's go ahead and simulate. And yet again I come out on top. Let's check my injury report. Just lost Eli Manning. And this is how good teams start to lose. But since I'm a running team, hopefully Brad Johnson can provide enough of a passing game that your running game doesn't stall out all the time. So Titans at Texans in division rivalry. I don't think I'll have trouble with them. Well, I should have waited. I do think I'm going to need to sign a free agent quarterback. And I am going to base that decision on the quarterback who has the highest awareness. So we'll pick up Doug Johnson for 1 year. Go ahead and submit. And we'll go back. Since we made those changes, we'll save it again, and we'll go ahead and simulate. So, lost that one. Probably chalk that up to having lost Eli Manning. I could put Eli on the injured reserve. Well, I'd have to do the math. It's week 7. Well, I might get him back for the playoffs. If he gets better exactly 9 weeks from now. So let's go ahead and we'll simulate the week. Now we're away at the Chargers. So I got my offensive lineman back this week. And I've only got, or I guess my center. He came back from injury. He comes back from injury this week. I still have the one injured. So let's go ahead and simulate this one. Could not beat the Chargers at home. So now we've got the Raiders. Let's check the Raiders got a fairly weak offense, though it looks like it's overperforming at 17th in the league. I've got the number 1 rushing offense in the league. That's nice to see. My defense, as far as points allowed per game, they're doing pretty good, but they're definitely slipping in terms of yardage. Let's check the injury report. One more week. Once those weeks are up, whoops. It's not guaranteed that he'll come back. Oh, now we have my bye week. Oh, but before we do that, let's check the injury report one more time. Eli Manning's still out. See, so now that his weeks are up, he would be back now, except he's questionable. So we don't know if he'll be back. Probably not at questionable. Well, except this is my bye week. Oops. Yeah. There. I misclicked. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and file and save again. Let's go ahead and simulate this game. Yeah. So let's check my injury report. So we lost my right outside linebacker. We lost my second string quarterback. Oh boy, howdy. Good thing I picked up Brad Johnson. So let's go ahead and simulate the week. I can feel my season slipping through my fingers as we speak. Let's go ahead and save that. We're going up against the Browns. Let's check the matchup. Still the number 2 rushing offense. I have more rushing yards than passing yards, which is kind of sad. But considering I'm running my third string quarterback, makes a bit of sense. The Browns have a good rushing attack at 4th in the league. My defense is doing better. Still first points allowed per game. There's probably a lot of the reasons I'm 5-5. So let's go ahead and simulate this game. Oh, I need to sign a quarterback. What's my breakdown look like? 47. So yeah, I've got a lot of roster space. I'm gonna go with awareness again. Oh, except I want quarterbacks. Now, Tim Hasselback is overall 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. 72. Jamie Martin has better awareness. I'm going to go with Jamie Martin, since all he really has to do is pass the ball. Oh, he's 37. I guess he's willing to take the league minimum. Okay. So, since we hired a new quarterback, let's save it again. Can't beat the Browns. Still in second place. I probably have a shot. I think I'd have to win out. Let's check my injury report. Oh, I lost Patrick Willis for the season. Yeah, an already struggling defense. So, well, my defense has gotten better. They were an 83. And my offense has definitely improved. See, that's the effect of, the awareness going up. Titans are 88 on offense and defense. They got decent special teams. Let's go ahead and simulate this game. Finally. So I'm 6-6 now. I'm not sure. 8-8 might be enough to get me in the playoffs if I get lucky. So, I've got the Buccaneers. I need to, since I'm obviously not going to have a home playoff game, in the owner's box there's an option to have a fan appreciation day, but it has to be a home game. So, the last game of the season is I'm at home against the Jaguars. So it's a divisional game, could decide who goes to the playoffs. So we'll wait on the Fan Appreciation Day. So we'll go ahead and simulate this home game. And the Buccaneers come in and beat me. Hopefully we can at least get to 500. We're playing the 8-5 Broncos. Oh, I need to check injuries. So Eli Manning, we might get him back in a week. Brad Johnson is probable. So hopefully got a shot here at winning this game. Wow. Didn't just have a shot, but came in with a blowout. I must have said the wrong thing. Oh, wow, look at the time of possession. Brad Johnson did a good job completing 70% of his passes. That's what you like to see, though. It looks like it was a real grinded out kind of game. Let's check the injury report. So the matchup, it's a division rivalry game. They're first in the division, and they have a heck of a turnover rate, or differential. We're pretty much opposites. Colts are pass first, can't run the ball. I'm a run first, can't pass the ball. Defensive is fairly similar. They definitely have the better passing defense. But I've still got that points allowed per game, which is a good stat to have. Go ahead and save this. Let's simulate the game. Definitely can't win the division now. Let's check the injury report. Landry's out for 2 weeks. Manning is questionable. Let's go in here to the owner's box. Then we'll go to prices and then advertising. Right now I'm not spending any money on advertising. We'll do more in the owner's box after the season. But now I want to spend some money and have our Fan Appreciation Day. Let's give away some team banners. So we'll come out of there, we'll save. And I'm not sure. Let's go to team standings. So as you can see in the NFL, the Panthers have clinched home field advantage, winning the NFC. The Cowboys won the NFC East. Oh, well, no. Both the Cowboys and the Giants have made the playoffs, but neither has clinched the division title. The Rams have clinched their division title. Let's go division by division. So the Steelers and the Ravens are still up in the air. The Colts, Jaguars, Texans. The Colts will probably clinch the division. Well, it's all up in the air, and you'd have to do a bunch of calculations to figure out tiebreakers and stuff with everyone this divided. This is the nice thing about doing a fantasy draft, is it really throws the league on its head. You have no idea who's going to win their division. So let's go ahead, we'll simulate this game. And the Jags beat me on Fan Appreciation Day. So I'm guessing that means I'm not going to the playoffs. I want to see injury report. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, who knows? Weirder things have happened. Let's go ahead, let's simulate the week. And now that we're at the playoffs, yeah, I definitely didn't. Let's take a look at how the season went. Let's check team standings. So we'll check the NFC West. Rams came out pretty handily, even though they only came out 9-7. Wow, the NFC East had 3 teams: the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Eagles. That's the NFC East for you, even though the rosters were completely randomized through the draft. The Buccaneers at 10-6 did not make the playoffs. The Panthers did. The Lions did. Chargers, but Broncos, who had the same record, didn't. Dolphins made the playoffs. Bills made the playoffs. Colts and Jags made the playoffs, but I did not, coming third in the division. Yeah, if Eli Manning hadn't gone down, we probably would have made the playoffs. I don't doubt that with Eli Manning not out for 10 weeks, we could have won 2 more games and made the playoffs. So, didn't make the playoffs, but a fairly decent season for my Texans. We're going to simulate the round. And it looks like both teams who went 9-7 in the playoffs, or during the regular season. Made it to the Super Bowl. I guess I went kind of fast through that. So let's see, Jags beat the Chargers. No, the Chargers beat the Jags. Said that backwards. Lions beat the Eagles. Steelers beat the Bills, and Rams beat the Giants in the wild card. So then we had Steelers at the Colts. Steelers won. Rams beat the Panthers. Chargers beat the Dolphins. Cowboys beat the Lions. Chargers beat the Steelers, and Rams beat the Cowboys. So just look at the matchup. Rams with the number 1 passing offense, 27th rushing though, number 2 total. Let's go ahead and simulate this game. Now before we have the Pro Bowl, let's go over some league stats, some team stats. No one really stood out, it looks like. But, nor were they absolutely terrible. All of them throwing more TDs than interceptions. Oh, wow. I want to say that is a league record. I don't think anyone's ever run for 24-49 yards in a season. 7 fumbles. Not too bad. Touchdowns, 15. Looks like I gained, and I forget what it was before, but quite a bit on that awareness stat. Receiving. Calvin Johnson didn't have a bad year for a rookie. 706 yards, 4 TDs. Heath Miller, my tight end, had 5 TDs. That's pretty good. He had a good season. Didn't catch any TDs, but 7.2 yards a carry. Only 1 drop. That's good over a season. Blocking, good. I had some Pro Bowlers on my offensive line, which is something I generally find happens when you are a running team. You generally have quite a few Pro Bowlers. Condren was a good standout at strong safety. Willis, even though he was out for a good part of the season, had the second most tackles on the team. Landry did alright. Let's see. Bailey had 9 sacks. Landry had 4 picks. Rivas and Florence had 2. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Dante Hall did alright, had 1 TD. 1 for 64. Okay. So now I want to compare my rushing total to the rest of the league. Yep. So, made the Pro Bowl. Most yards in the league. Not the most touchdowns, though. That goes to Fred Taylor, Jacksonville. Man, I was tied with Marion Barber. Tomlinson, who went down at some point in the season, had the highest average. Alright, so that's the league stats that I'm interested in. What about, let's go to the league news. And there's 2 here we want to check out. That's going to be yearly awards. Brian Westbrook was NFL MVP. I came in 4th. 3rd in the divisional voting. Offensive player came in 2nd, but was AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive player, I don't see any Texans. Offensive rookie for the AFC and the NFL. Defensive rookie, Landry did pretty good there. I was the AFC's best running back. He must have caught a lot of passes, which, considering it's Brian Westbrook, probably he caught a lot of passes. But best running back in the AFC. Best wide receiver, don't see any Texans. Offensive line, Logan Mankins. Best in the NFL. Yeah, don't see any Texans. Don't see any Texans. If Patrick Willis hadn't got injured, he might have been on there. No Texans. No, well, my kicker did pretty good. 5th in the AFC. No Texans. Alright, so we'll go ahead and simulate this game. Alright, so now season's over and we're in the owner's box, off-season mode. We're going to go ahead, we'll save the game, and I think it's about time we took a break and ended this video, and I will see you in the next video.